Let's jump right into the charts. Right now I have my flexible grid pulled up on Thinkorswim. I have 4 different symbols open: HYMC, GNPX, GLD, and AMC. I think I just want to start with AMC right away. I know that my subscriber base is generally focused on AMC more than anything else, and why not just start here? I have been following a downtrend for quite some time, since late last year, and this downtrend has not failed to break yet. The price has broken above it a couple of different times and has always come back down. And what we see now is the price is moving above that downtrend. I want to talk about, though, why I'm going to move this line. And the reason for that is a new low was set. Let's see here. It was last week. I believe it was Monday. We found a new low of $12.90. So the way that I draw my trend lines per Bulkowski is, well, first of all, I need to edit. Well, that's okay. You take the highest high and you draw a line down to the lowest low. And then you pull that line up until you're not cutting through the price at all until that point, which puts our trend line somewhere around there. You can see now that the trend line does not overwrite the price at all, except for at this little wick here. Maybe this candle is also kind of part of the line, but nonetheless. So the downtrend remains in full force, and you can see that the price is now encountering a horizontal level of support and resistance at $15.75 and change. The RSI is still oscillating in the bearish side of things. I'm gonna blow up the RSI a little bit here. You can see that it's not even above 50 yet. We're at 45, so I'm going to need to see the RSI set a new relative high before I become too optimistic of a rally. You can see that the volume's been dropping since about, what day was this? February 1st. I think this is an important thing to notice, though, is that the volume has been in a downtrend from this point. And you can see that the peaks get lower and lower. Here we go. You can see that there's something of a downtrend. It's never really linear, right? But you can see that the spikes are dwindling, and the 30-period average, which is a yellow line through here, is starting to come down. So I think that the overall move here, this corrective phase, is ending. You're going to see the RSI move up from its lowest point in a long time, from somewhere around 17, and pull up. And in this moment where the RSI begins to leave that oversold area, that's where we saw this massive volume spike. What's super curious is that volume massive spike is actually not a green candle. It's actually a red candle. This one right here. And it's not super bullish at all. You can see there was a gap up and a lot of enthusiasm, and then that $18 level acted as an incredible level of resistance. Looking at my daily chart, what is that? It's not even quite up to that descending triangle yet. Right there, that was that big volume spike. Interesting, isn't it, to see that there was a lot of enthusiasm here, and the price did try to rally into that same zone, that price range, and failed. Fell, bounced, failed, and fell more. So what do I think is happening right now? I think that this consolidation here, this recovery phase of this big measured move down, is coming to an end. And I think maybe even all of this movement here is part of it. And setting up for the second run down. Yeah, the second run down. I don't think that this is over yet for AMC. First run, corrective phase. Run 2 will start as soon as we confirm a close below this level at 1340. If you look over here, this day closed at 1356. So not quite a confirmation yet of this measured move down, and we did see a bounce from that level. I do expect to see this to falter, though, and ultimately fall and then reach those lows of around $7. And I think that's just going to have to be the way we anticipate the price action, because consumer spending is beginning to fall. That kind of news is starting to appear, that inflation is finally taking its toll on the US consumer. And I've been, in my last video, or a couple of videos, I've been mentioning the personal savings rate decreasing, and we know that the price wage spiral is not a thing. So what's going to occur, I believe, is a continuation of inflation. Yep, a continuation of inflation. The money supply will continue to be inflated, and the Fed has now started to raise rates, and the market took that as a bonus, which makes sense, okay? a little bit, because as rates rise, that means inflation comes down and the consumers can continue to afford to spend money on luxury goods. So overall, controlled and slow, steady rising of rates, I think overall could be good for the economy and hence good for equities as well. However, I do think once the Federal Reserve removes its support of stimulating the markets, I think that is really going to be the tipping point. I also think too that the geopolitical concerns are being undervalued. Just recently, we saw the U.S. send a striker brigade to, I believe it was Bulgaria. And so I think that longer term, I think that we're anticipating a longer conflict. I remember a few weeks ago, there was some talk about no credible cybersecurity threats from Russia against the US, but now we see a big push to bolster the cyber defense systems of the United States. At the same time, the United States is escalating the types of weapons and arms being sent to the Ukraine, while China is simultaneously beginning to open up towards helping Russia with their invasion of the Ukraine. So overall, I think that the crisis is not winding down at all. I see a worsening of the geopolitical atmosphere, and I think that the economic impacts of that conflict are going to take a while to actually be realized, and that's because it's occurring on a global level. The bigger the system, the slower the response. At least you hope. You really don't want to see, at least I don't want to see a global crash. That would be very alarming. But I do think, though, we are going to see a reversal of the globalization trend that we've had for a very long time. And as that globalization trend begins to reverse, we're going to see a lot of different changes in terms of monetary and fiscal policy and international relations. I think we're in for a new kind of world. It's going to be something like how the world changed around the 60s, around the 40s, the 20s. 2000 was even kind of a big time. Think about the dot-com bubble and the wide implementation of the internet. I think we're going to enter into a new kind of world again, but that's just me documenting my thoughts. I'm optimistic about it, but I think that change always comes through some turbulence, and that's going to be wildly uncomfortable for a while. Nonetheless, here we are at AMC, and you can start to see that there might even be a chart pattern here forming up. It could be an inverted head and shoulders. I expect to hear people talking about that moving forward. The bulls are always just way optimistic about this stuff. Here I pulled up my blank chart on my daily time frame, and you can see I had a measured move down and an ascending triangle here. And we see that the price is starting to pull up now. I'm going to continue this chart pattern, and I'm going to try to line up right there. I'm going to try to line up this minor high with the end of this upward trend line. And the reason why I'm doing that is because there's typically, or a very possible likelihood, a high likelihood of a trend reversal in the price at the apex of triangles. And so if I can make an informed decision about where I should be drawing this trend line, maybe I can figure out where the trend reversal will occur. So if I take the first point of that triangle and then I use this candle as the first touch point, you can see there's 4 candles here and they form a nice shelf. And this was, I was thinking, could be a double bottom. And this would be an eve. And any one of these points could be our first touch point of our triangle, right? Could be that one, could be that one. I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, and the slope of this trend line just changes a little bit, right? So if I use the very last one, there, perfect touch point there, you can see that trend line would end approximately right here, right at yesterday's, right at yesterday, I should say Friday. So what that would mean is that I have to rise this level a little bit, which is okay to do because we do have some wicks passing through here. You can see that. So my upper touches would be here, and then this would actually be also a touch. It's not perfect, obviously, and actually failing to rise up here and forming these tweezer tops, this pipe top, this double top, whatever you want to call it, this is a sign of weakness. And sure enough, the price did break down, and we see here too, we have that nice 1, 2, draw, and 3, nice measured move down. The market likes to move in these 1, 2, 3 actions when it's making a bigger overall move. And now we have a rebound, and just like always, I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't be surprised if if that rebound is actually just part of a bigger move, right? And here there's move 1, and now we're in the corrective phase, and as we reach the apex of that triangle, we're gonna see a new downtrend emerge that'll lead us somewhere, $10, sub 10, very possible. And I really think that this is probably the best way to chart this corrective phase, and now it has begun to break down. And we have seen this kind of pattern before back here. This was a little less clean. Nonetheless, this is starting to shape up like the price of AMC is now moving and preparing to find further downside and set new lows. And this makes sense. If you look at the earnings report, AMC's attendance has been down. New movies aren't coming out nearly as much. I mean, yeah, they're making a lot of good money on really big movies, but it's going to take consistent business over a long period of time to become profitable. Recently, the company bought a 22% stake in a mining company. I haven't even looked into it really, but it's HYMC. I know nothing about them. Highcroft Mining Holding. All right, well, let's just go take a look. So the company bought into this equity, and this is like I believe they own a mine with a lot of gold in it. And this is like an indirect ownership of that gold. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm very, 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 very bullish on gold. I love the precious metals. They're my favorite, first love, if you will, in financial markets. So I'm really happy to see AMC do this. It does look really desperate though. It looks really desperate. One of the guys in my Discord, OB1, he's been following AMC, and you know, the liability in lease and rents is going to be coming up here very shortly. There was a lot of grace given to AMC in terms of paying rent during the pandemic, and that grace will eventually stop. And when that does stop, AMC is going to owe a lot of people a lot of money. And I haven't figured out what those numbers are, but I do think it's being overlooked a lot because it doesn't fit the squeeze narrative. And I just hate that. The squeeze narrative is so blind to so many people. Can you imagine, imagine this, you want a short squeeze to happen, right? And the short positions aren't gonna close until the price finds its ultimate low. Well, what if Adam Aron was preparing for the company to enter into bankruptcy and then be acquired by a larger company, right? I don't know. I'm just gonna spitball. Disney. Can you imagine what Disney could do with the space of theaters? It would be incredible the way they could harness Disney Plus and an actual theater chain. I think that you have Amazon buying MGM, which is nuts, by the way. Like, we have to get Amazon under control. As consumers, it's time for us to vote with our money and say, hey, Amazon, you're too big, you're a mega corporation, you're a monopoly. Guess what? You're bad for society, you're exploiting labor, and you are done. That's what I think about Amazon. But they bought MGM, and that's gonna make an incredibly powerful media corporation. And I think Disney could probably step up to the plate and compete by buying the AMC. I know that's crazy, and this is just a spitball theory, but like, if the company files for bankruptcy and then receives a gracious offer out of seemingly nowhere for Disney, that really could be a short squeeze trigger, right? Because the stock price would crash like crazy, and then suddenly it would be, the company is saved, and the shares would suddenly have all this intrinsic value, and boom, the price would soar, and that might shake the shorts. So I understand everyone's hoping the best for AMC, but honestly, the squeeze play is going to be brutal. If you're in it for Moaz, it's going to be really, 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 really rough. And let's face it, if you're in it for Moaz, you're not really in it for the company anyway. Nonetheless, so I see AMC buying this equity, and you know, I'm happy about it because gold's bullish. I think that's bullish for AMC too. I think this might be a move to try to take the balance sheet of AMC and just make it really unpredictable. If gold does explode, the value of this equity could go, crazy. Like, it already has. It went from 28 cents to, what is this, $2.50? It already went 10x. All right, and on the retracement, you know, it's holding above $1. This is really, really good. And if the balance sheet of AMC can make these big swings and big declines and big swings and big declines based on the holding of this equity, that could be pose a risk to short positions, open short positions. It'd become more risky to be short AMC if it suddenly has the potential to make all this cash and make all this money through its investing. It's insane, I know, and it does look a little desperate, but I think because of the timing that it's probably a pretty calculated move. I'm just blown away. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird, but so my analysis is this, that this equity is in it's in a decline, right? The high is 725. It's coming down, way down. And you can see I've drawn an internal and an external trend line here. And the price is currently finding horizontal support and resistance at that 138 level. The RSI did go into the overbought region, now fell, and now we see it kind of slowing down, but starting to slide. And it looks like we might even see a continued run from this point. If the price were to collapse, it would have happened back here. I'm thinking though that I'm gonna buy in here because if retail can figure out to rally this equity, if retail figures out to rally this stock, you know, that could be a really good thing for AMC. And honestly, with a share price that low, I think that retail really could come in and make a big maneuver. There is definitely a double top here between the weekly candlesticks, which is not great, but whatever. You know what else kind of looks like this is GNPX. You can see that right here, these weekly candles, they have a similar look, big fat run up and then a little one, and now the price is finding support. Let's just segue into GNPX. I'm really excited about GNPX, autoimmune therapy, gene therapy, really cool stuff. So yeah, we had that big run up and then boom, had a nice triple bottom through here and a price rise. And now we see that the price is kind of stuck in this this rectangle, just trading between this region. And I mean, the last 4 days have been really good. Like this has been really exciting. And I increased my position throughout here. So I'm happy about that. And you can see the volume trend too is starting to come up. So GNPX had its first human clinical trial test for one of its drugs. And so inevitably we're going to get some news in the near-term future about how that trial is going. And I don't know, maybe someone knows something that that's going pretty well thus far. It's kind of what it seems like. So I'm looking for the price of GNPX to rise above this 243 level and stay above there. This is a lot of green candles in a row, so maybe I expect some downside in the near future, but overall I'm feeling really good about holding GNPX and increasing my holdings. You can see that there's a longer term downtrend coming in through here, and the price did break above that and is now consistently closing above it, which is really good. We had a temporary downtrend which is also over, but we haven't set a new high from this big fat candlestick to set a new uptrend, so it's all kind of theoretical. And I had to move here. I'm going to move this theoretical uptrend to reflect the more recent price action. I don't know why I have to click so much sometimes, it's kind of annoying. Something like that. That's probably the new uptrend. Very slow, very gradual, and it may take a while to break above that price range, but I am feeling very bullish about GNPX. Let's talk about GLD, because as the markets seem to be less afraid of the future, the price of GLD has plummeted. This is a huge retrace. Now GLD is not gold, but it does seek to perform with the price of gold, and it's pretty good. I honestly like to invest in GLD or trade GLD really, with as I watch the price of gold. You can see implied volatility at the very bottom of my screen here dropping drastically as the price retraces its previous move. And well, I think that this downtrend that we saw in that retrace is over now. And even though these candles are red, I do expect to see a new uptrend start at this point. We have a prior high of 178.80, and it seems like that level is now serving as support, which is really actually quite bullish. So I'm hoping to see this continue upward. I don't really have a reason to believe it'll fall. It looks like the volume trend is down as the price has been retracing, and another volume spike could be really beneficial to the price. Last volume spike was way up here, so this is a high volume high. It's gonna be hard to get through that, but I think that the demand for gold will step up as we see the geopolitical landscape become more tumultuous. So yeah, while we're here, we're gonna check out gold futures. Gold futures definitely more accurately reflect the price of gold. And I got two volumes here open up. Well, you know, what's important is that this volume shows the open interest, which is this blue line. And what the price does when that open interest changes is pretty important. You can see open interest currently is moving downward as positions are closed in futures. So this probably would indicate selling of the futures and taking profits. You see that occurred back here. The price actually was an uptrend at that point. Here's the last time we saw the price fall with open interest right here. You can see there, it peaked there, and boom. You know, open interest is always going to move a little bit, but this pronounced steep drop this started that downtrend, right? So it's hard to know what's going to happen next. I haven't looked at this a whole bunch, but typically we see a small rebound as open interest increases again, and then I guess it just depends on which side of the futures the open interest reflects. Like, we don't know what the open interest is at the price, what the prices of this open interest is. So it's not a whole lot to read into there, I don't think, but this is still obviously in a tear. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a trend line to the highest high, and you know, we have some wicks back here that really affect this trend line. You can see, you know, if I honor those wicks, the trend line is really shallow. And if I just decide to go to here, say, hey, let's use these open and closes instead of those tails, yeah, the price is struggling right now. It's seemingly breaking out of that upward trend. The RSI is still in a good spot, hanging out at around 50. Volume is quite low, and open interest is dropping. So a little bump here, like we've seen after other decreases in open interest, right? Not that last one, but not even that one. Yeah, I don't know. Gold futures not looking super bullish, especially since we could have head and shoulders top here. There's a shoulder, right? Those would be symmetrical, and if that is the case, then we're going to be looking for a downward breakout from the neckline, which would be really hard to figure out here. Let's see if this is. It'd probably be down here. A break below 1890 or 1900 even would signal more downside. But I think what we're really seeing here is a longer term bullish consolidation play out. It's probably going to have a trendline support that makes sense with a previous congestion zone. So through there probably. And it's anyone's guess what the length of time is or what the slope of that downtrend will be. But this is likely going to be our pennant or symmetrical triangle resulting from that run, that initial run up. Again, I do expect this to be more of a measured move up situation where we have leg 1, and now we're in that corrective phase down, and then leg 2 will take us much higher. So yeah, I'm bullish on gold, which is good for AMC because AMC is now exposed to the precious metals markets, which is a great idea, I think, really I do, although it is bizarre, and I think that we have a lot more ahead of us in terms of geopolitics. I think that the effect of the stimulus from the COVID era is coming to an end. I need to cover, or I want to look at the SPY really quick. Here we go. Yep, my puts expired worthless, so I lost money there, which is fine. Took it on the chin. That's just the way I chose to do it. I'm pretty disillusioned with the equities markets, so at this point, I'm just watching the SPY, just observing it. You can see there was a downward channel that we've had, and that has the price has broken out. The SPY has broken out above that. I'm not super bullish on it though yet. It doesn't look like it's going to be a true bull breakout. We have a decreasing volume trend through here, and that would signal that our next big move is about to occur. And it doesn't necessarily have to be up. Yes, the price is above the channel, but what I'm going to see is a close above the last minor high. Well, I've been saying in my Discord channel 441, right? Which is right where the price is right now. It's actually above that. Wow, it is above it. Interesting. I didn't look at the closing price on Friday. That's pretty bullish. Deliberation right here, moving higher. Do I trust it though? Yeah, I don't know, not yet. That's not a lot of volume. That's below 30 period average volume on the upward breakout. And the RSI isn't really all that bullish yet. It is at 58, but you can see the arc of this is starting to slow down a little bit. So Monday is gonna have to be a good day. If Monday's a good day, then I'm like thinking that, yeah, maybe there's some more upside for the SPY. Implied volatility is dropping as the price rises. Okay, but you know, that would kind of indicate to me that this is just a corrective bounce. Until implied volatility starts to rise with these price rises, until that correlation becomes positive, I'm still going to be bearish and in favor of seeing the price drop, or that would be my expectation at least. So I'm going to go ahead and look at my drawings here again. As you can see, there is a corrective trend line way down here still, and there are several levels of horizontal support and resistance as the price has been just moving back and forth, grinding through these zones. Yeah, it is looking pretty good though. This would be a good opportunity for the SPY to rally. So kind of just on the merit that this looks too good to be true, given that nothing has really improved economically, makes me think that this is fake. The price is going to turn around, we'll see some pipe tops, and then big slide down. But can't tell the future. The SPY moves beautifully in a technical way, but sometimes it's hard to read. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my blank charts here, and I'm actually going to remove these drawings really quick, and I'm just going to see if I can't see a chart pattern in here that I haven't seen before. And typically I do this by starting at the top of a pattern and then just finding the downtrend, right? There's our lowest low. Okay, so let's honor that line there, and then let's find you know, a good couple of touch points down here. See, this isn't great. That's better. You know, there you go. For the price to start to gap that far down and pull back up, this is just a pullback. And then we had a couple of questionable days. The price trying to fall but finding a lot of support, right? So it's almost like we have this descending triangle pattern, right? And the price is currently breaking out of it. In fact, let me tighten this up too. Yeah, that looks really good. Doesn't that look great? I think that looks like a great descending triangle. This is probably the best way to look at the price right now. I'm not exactly sure where the chart pattern forms. Maybe it's right there. And the apex is going to occur sometime next week. What day is this? This will be the 29th. That's in a couple of weeks. So I expect to see a trend change at that point. Maybe I can even bring that in a little closer using that candle and that candle, and also this candle, and kind of these two candles here to inform that this is where the trend line should be, and that would bring the apex in a little closer to the 24th, and I believe that is next week, right? Next Thursday. This looks good. So it is possible that we could see another couple of days of upside. In fact, it wouldn't even surprise me to see us come up to another level up towards 450, and then maybe then we start to see the start of a topping pattern, right? And maybe the price begins to turn around and then begins to fall in earnest at some point in the future. That would be the bearish, that'd be the bearish forecast there. After you see the price fling up like this on seemingly no real news, right? Nothing's really improved, but we see the price being up. I would kind of expect to see a stall and then a decline with some accelerating pattern to it. And this would be a really ugly pattern, to be honest. So I'm not totally committed to that, but that's one possibility, is that we're seeing a false breakout of a descending triangle. Maybe what I want to do is take the most recent price action and start drawing some other triangles, right? Because it's possible too that the price is in an ascending triangle. Maybe right here, and this could be a just a little breakout, little false breakout, and the price comes back down and continues to consolidate for a long time. Like, this would make sense too. So I think overall the SPY is really hard to read right now. It's really hard to read. All I know is that I see a decreasing price trend. The RSI is not yet oscillating bullishly. The economic situation is not improving, and neither is the geopolitical landscape. So honestly, I don't see a reason for the SPY to be doing better. I am not bullish yet. I am still bearish, generally, on everything but precious metals. So that's where I'm at this week. If you watch this whole video, thanks for watching. Like, I appreciate my subscribers being here. I really do. You know, it's been a long journey going from Moaz hype to, well, maybe to thinking about maybe making a living in the stock market, to becoming disillusioned in the stock market overall and still participating in it, you know, to where I am now. And it's just like, it's been a weird long journey. And I've got it all on this YouTube channel, and I still get like 100 views, which is baffling to me, but that's cool, you know? If there's anything you want to talk about, let me know. I think my viewership's getting pretty limited now, and if you're still watching at this point, you definitely deserve a spot in the Discord, so I'm going to be leaving a link, I think, in the description of the video description, so check that if you want to hop into the Discord. I do comment a lot in there, what I'm doing when I am playing puts and how I'm playing them. I'm pretty good at signaling bottoms in the SPY and AMC and intraday price action. So I can make money there, and it can be fun to hang out in the Discord and jump in together. I did open a position in HYMC, and yeah, so that's what I got. Happy trading.